Change my wicked ways into righteousness. I forsake.
Okay, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Before I start anything, I try to get all done up for you guys, and I messed up my eyeliner and this foundation under these lights. I look dead, so remind me next time I do a video, use my other foundation because this one's not working. So, on to today's video. I decided to do this video right now because there have been some current developments. When I mean current developments, I mean like happened a few days ago. So this is part 2 to my relationship with my father video, and this is gonna be the last video I make for this, and the reason being is over the weekend I have decided to not have a relationship with my father, and I told him that I did not want to have a relationship with my father. I told that to him. So it's thundering and lightning outside, and it's like bright, but it's raining. I don't know, the weather's acting up and my window's open, and I thought it was great. Anyways, back to this video. So I forget when I posted that video. I think it was about, I want to say almost 2 years ago. But to give backstory, the relationship with my father has been like really like, I guess, turbulent, as I guess you could say. He's been in and out of my life for my whole entire life. I actually got bold one day and actually calculated it out of the time he was actually not present, period. And I calculated it out to be 41.7% of my life he has not been present, period. So the last time I saw my father before this time, which is going to be coming up, I haven't seen my father since I was 18 in 2009. So about 5.5 years I haven't seen my dad. I can count on both my hands how many times I've talked to my father in that span of 5.5, almost 6 years. I think I shared with you guys the last time I saw him, I did, because I cried during that part. That we had a giant fight and a falling out. Well, it wasn't a falling out because we weren't in to begin with, but we had a giant fight, and basically I said some words and I told my mom either he's leaving or I'm leaving. She didn't pick, so I picked for her, and I packed my bags and I left, and I moved in with my aunt until he left and didn't come back, which he has a habit of doing. So fast forwarding until 4 weeks ago, well, in April, because it's the beginning part of May, my grandfather, his dad got sick and he passed away. And that's a whole other video because it's a whole other situation completely in and of itself. But we're talking about my father and me. So somehow, some way, my mother convinced me to go to the funeral. It was in Louisiana, and that's where my dad is right now. And I did not want to go because I really did not want to see him, because I just I didn't want to see him. I hadn't seen him in like 5.5 years. We're not really close, period. So I mean, it wasn't excitement. As you guys may know, I've been in therapy basically this whole calendar year, so like I think 4 months. I would say for a good like February, well, 3 months, going on 4 months of therapy and talking in therapy. I wasn't excited to see him. I was more, I would say, terrified, pissed off, and angry that I had to see him because I really didn't want to. And even making the decision to go, it was a big deal because like I just really didn't want to see him. And so me and my mom go down there, and to make a long story short, she asked me to, call a truce for the weekend because, his dad died and it wasn't the time to, hash things out. And so I said, okay, I'll call a truce or whatever. But I really wasn't receptive to being around him. Like, when we saw each other, it was like that awkward, like, I don't know what to do thing. And he like hugged me, and I was like, okay, it's a hug. And like a few days after that, he like wanted to like kiss me on the cheek. I was like, I don't want this. And some things had transpired, which I'll keep to myself. That's my family business. Well, it's not really. Well, I guess I'll talk about it later. But talk about it later. But I just didn't and don't want to be around him. And so yeah. And so we come back, and then so we have a conversation via Facebook, because we talk on Facebook, on Messenger or whatever. And when my father contacts me, I'm not like, mean or give him attitude or like just ignore him. I do respond because I'm nice, I think. And so I do respond. And so we had a nice conversation, and after that trip, I said, you know what, I could give it a try. Talking with my therapist and knowing the things that I want to do with my life, and knowing that the things that I've been through have been a result of my parents and their relationship with each other and their relationship with me. And so I know that for me, I wanted to work those things out with my parents, because I felt like the issues that I had were because of them. And I told my friend, I don't want to parent blame, but she like really took a look at me and said, why don't you want to parent blame when your issues stem from their issues? And so it's a whole other video, but we're talking to stay on track. But I really wanted both my parents to be involved in this, because the first one, it wasn't my mess that I made. The mess that I have been in since birth, before birth, are not my issues, and I don't feel the need to fix them without them. And I felt like I needed them to take responsibility for the things that they have done, whether they did it intentionally or unintentionally. And so fast forward to Friday, I had asked my mom, can we have a talk? And so that was a very emotional talk, because it was basically me saying, I need you to help me work these things out, because these things that I'm going through stem from you and him and what you guys have done in the past, and it's affecting me in my adult life. And so before I went home and had the conversation, my dad messaged me, and I will read you some messages. I will read them to you because we need the details and we need the evidence, honey. But he, I have it ready to go. I'm ready. He messaged me and that morning and said, love you. And I didn't respond because I didn't know how to respond. And knowing the headspace I was in, I wasn't going to reply with, I love you too. It was going to be more of like, you. That's the kind of headspace I was in. I was ready to, guns was blazing this past weekend. They were blazing. And so I didn't want to be disrespectful. So the next morning, this is after me and my mom had our emotional talk, and we talked for 2 hours, and I cried and yelled and rah, 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 rah. So I decided I'm going to message him back. And so this is what I simply said. I said, I love you too. We have a lot of things to work on, and I hope we can get through those things. That's all I said. How he responds is how he's responded to me my entire life that I can remember. And so he sent me 3 messages, and I'll read those to you, and I'll read my reply, and then I'll read you the crap he said, and then I'll just read you the stuff, because get comfy, get some popcorn, make yourself comfortable, because we got some things to talk about. So he says, love doesn't require work, babe, and it takes no energy to be a good person. Working on relationships is for those that are confused. Confusion is failure. You don't have to ask me to have a relationship with you. You just have to start one. Here was my reply. It was kind of lengthy because I waited because, I gave that to my mother and said, this is exactly the reason why I can't have a discussion or a relationship with him, because he replies to me like this. Here was my reply. I said, I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about the lack thereof of the relationship that we do have. I can tell you this. I love you unconditionally, but my trust in being a part of my life, however, does have conditions. I'm no longer going to walk around life under a facade that everything is perfectly peachy keen when it's not. If you want to walk around with the delusions that there's nothing wrong between us, continue to be in denial and not do the work it takes to make a relationship work, then I need to walk away. I love you. I'm willing to do the work, but if that's not something you can do, let me know so that I can continue to love you at a distance and live my life without a relationship with my father. I'm done with the back and forth. I'm not a child. I'm not playing this game with you anymore. I would love to have you in my life, but if we're not going to be honest and take responsibility on both sides, then I'm not doing this. It's up to you. He replied with some, I'll read it. If you have a lack thereof or whatever, it has nothing to do with me. I don't do others' conditions. We are all who we choose to be. If you have problems with things, I suggest not walk around as if you don't. You haven't stepped up to the plate to walk away from. If you think it's been some kind of game, I can see where your confusion extends from. There's nothing for me to take responsibility for. I opened the door unconditionally as should be. You decided you wouldn't show up and the door's been open. It stays that way. Sorry that it's on your terms, but it's not on mine either. Sorry that it's not. I don't do fake relationships, not even with my kids. If you're here for me, I'm here for you. Water doesn't complicate, it flows. To be the bold parent, I must say that I don't really, if you like me or not. I guess he doesn't really care if I like you or not, or if you don't want to talk to me, etc. But my door is always open. I said it, and with that being said, I don't choose to have a relationship with you. You have done nothing but cause pain in my life, and I'm choosing not to be a party in this anymore. I love you and wish you the best. And he replied with some messages, and I haven't replied to him because I'm not going to reply to him because I'm done. So, with that being said, like I said, I am no longer going to. I do not want a relationship with my father, and for those reasons, that's always how he's replied to me when I've tried to work on things with him. And for me, being an adult now and not a child, I don't want anyone in my life that cannot take responsibility for the things that they have done, whether it was intentional or unintentional. Like I told my mother, I said, it's like me bumping into someone and them saying, whoa, you bumped into me. And they may think, I did it on purpose, but I'm saying, you know what? Hey, I bumped into you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you. It was an accident. Take responsibility for what you've done. And Saturday was like the most eye-opening experience of my life, I want to say, because I can say now on the other side, I placed a lot of my self-worth, a lot of my value, a lot of the way that I thought of myself on the fact that my father wasn't there. Like I told my mom this, and she I don't think she understands what I said, but like I said, I know that your relationship wasn't that was your relationship and you guys made mistakes and that was your relationship. But knowing something, realizing something, and feeling something are three totally different things. And just because I knew that doesn't mean that's what I felt. Because to me, I felt like my dad wasn't there. What was wrong with me as to why he wasn't there? And even up until Saturday, that's how I felt. And even like with like being an adult and wanting a relationship with someone and to move to marriage and have children, like what man's going to want me when my father didn't want me? Because through his actions, he never showed me he wanted me. Even though I know there were some things that prevented him from being, totally present. However, not fighting for me it's been a big issue, especially in therapy. He never showed me that he would do anything for me. And even like when I was in middle school, when I was living with my grandparents for a brief time, because my mother sold the condo. Why? I don't know. I would like, even then, like, I don't remember talking to him, during that time, and he would say, well, I told you to call me if you want to talk to me. It's like, I'm the child. Why should I have to call you every time just to talk to my own father? Even then, it's just like, in case I didn't explain in my other video, like, this how it's been. My dad was there, my parents, I don't know what happened. Then in 5th grade, my parents had a big fight. He left. I didn't see him until the 8th grade for graduation, that he stood in the back and then left and bounced out. Didn't see him for 2 years until my sophomore year in high school, when he tried to come back and try to play daddy. Like, he wasn't just bounced out. And then seeing him off and on during that time of high school, and then when 18 he bounced out, and I haven't seen him one time since then. So for me, it's like, when you're gone, you're gone. Like, you have put no effort, really. Calling me once a year is not putting in effort. Messaging me 2 days after my birthday, happy birthday, is not putting in effort. And like I told my mom, I'm done with this cycle. I may not have been the most receptive, but I'm the child. I'm not going to chase down a parent. Be a parent. So I'm not doing it anymore. I love my father, but like I told my mother, I deserve better. And until Saturday, I think a lot of my self-worth and not feeling worthy of, being praised, whether it's in school or whether it's in the workplace or whether it's in relationships, and not feeling worthy of having more and feeling worthy of just the basics. A lot of that was tied into the relationship that I had with my father, and up until Saturday, I felt the weight of that, and now I don't. I know it's not for everyone. My mother still doesn't understand why we can't have a relationship, but it's just like, why would I want someone around me that's not adding to my life? And to me, it's like, I don't care if it was him or someone else. I'm not doing this with anybody. With all that I've been through in my life, I deserve more. And if you're not adding, you're subtracting. And I don't have time for it. And so, with that being said, I can end this video because it's getting too long. But with that being said, I'm getting to a place where I know my full worth. And father or not, I deserve, and I'm worth more than that. And like mother says, he is who he is, and that's how he's always been. Why can I accept that? I can accept that that's who he is, but I don't want that in my life. And if that's how it's going to be, I'm good. Because you know what? I'm an adult now, and like my parents keep reminding me when it's convenient for them, I'm an adult. I'm making adult decisions to make sure that Sierra's good, because back then, for 24 years, he wasn't thinking about me and what my best interest was. thinking about himself and what he wanted and what he wanted to do and what he didn't want to do, instead of taking responsibility as a father and a man. So guess what? Sierra is going to take care of Sierra and make sure Sierra's good. And if that means people get booted out of my life, that's what it is. And with that being said, I'm going to go take my ombre lips, look fabulous, honey, and do me. So you should just go ahead, do you, boo. And I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you guys. Bye.
Twofold, he's got a hold of the mode. Truth be told, I don't wanna let go anymore, since I know what's in store for the essence and chance to be in his presence. No longer will I break his heart.